साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
Offering our beloved Bhagavan our heartfelt pranams, and we will start today's session with a bhajan. Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ram. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Koti Koti pranams at the most loving and benedictory lotus feet of our divine Sai Ma, the Divine Mother, who is with us always in the Sai Gayathree Swarupa. By the grace and blessings of our most beloved Sai Ma, today we are entering our 4th day of the Sai Gayathree Saptaham. It is indeed Bhagavan's grace that the Ghandikota family, led by Shri Ghandikota Aryama Garu, is today with us again as part of his 5-day satsang on this YouTube channel presented to all of you by Sri Satya Sai Seva Organization, Tamil Nadu, East Coast District. We warmly welcome you, and we quickly recap in the next 10 seconds through a video bhajan of the great experiences which the Ghandikota family have had with Bhagwan. So I will now request the host of the meeting to please play the Mantratmike snapshot for a minute, which recaps yesterday's beautiful moments with Shri Ghandikota Aryama, and then we will move to the session itself. Sai Ram.
मन्त्रात्मिके जननी जननी मन्त्रात्मिके जननी जननी मनोभीष्टप्रदे जननी मनोभीष्टप्रदे जननी मन्त्रात्मिके जननी जननी शृङ्गगिरि निवासिनी जननी शृङ्गगिरि निवासिनी जननी शारदे 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 मन्त्रात्मिके जननी जननी.
Sai Ram. Over to you, sir. Shri Ghandikota Aryama ji. We warmly welcome you again and request you to lead the Saptaham. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you for the introduction. And I'm very happy to be here with all of you, sisters and brothers. So we have a short presentation, and I'll talk through those points, followed by an opportunity for questions so I can answer. So if we can start the presentation. This is our puja room that I'm sitting in with essentially a little mandir. Sai Ram, thank you. Please start the presentation. Our Om Shri Sai Ram, our humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of the Yugavatar, Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Next, please. Is my volume good enough?
It's very good, sir. Sai Ram.
Okay. So from the formless to the form, and then if we consider everything, formless and all forms, that is the avatar of love, Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Swami is the Sarva Devata Swarupa, the embodiment of all divinities. The formless come as the form to elevate us all to union with the formless God. God is one for everyone. No, there's no exclusivity in Sanatana Dharma. So if we wanted to see God, we just had to travel to Parthi in Prasanthi Nilayam or Trai Vrindavan, and we could see the Divine Lord in the form, in this form. This picture was taken by my brother Ravi Shankar. And it's a very nice photo. The eyes follow you everywhere. Next, please. The avatar of love. Unless God incarnates as man, man can never hope to see God or listen to his voice unless he's a great yogi who can draw Bhagavan to him. In fact, even the child like Dhruva was able to draw him by intense sadhana for 5 or 6 months. And he brought Bhagavan to him. So here, all we had to do was to travel to Puttaparthi and see Swami. That itself was an undertaking for many people. But now the time has passed. But we have all these videos and pictures and writings. He gave a number of talks, many of which are on the internet and are readily accessible. So he is always accessible in the Hridaya Mandir. So talk to him and he will answer you. So Swami said, I am Atma Swarupa. Wherever you may go, worship God as the Atma Swarupa. Do not identify him with an akara. Give up body consciousness and develop Atmic awareness. Then you can see everything just like Swami. Only when you lead a spiritual life will you be able to visualize the Atma Swarupa. How fortunate we are to know of the avatar and to have, and to many to have experienced him. Many experienced him even remotely. Next, please. Why fear when I am here? He's the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul, and has never left us, is always with us, our Hridayavasi, the indweller of our hearts, the wondrous Lord of the universe. Not only this universe, but umpteen countless universes. Treasure the good memories and remember how fortunate we are to have experience of the Divine Lord. Next, please. This is the symbol for the International Sai Organization. It has 6 petals. Om of Sanatana Dharma, the Buddhist chakra, the Zoroastrian fire, the Star of David of the Hebrews, the crescent and star of Islam, and then Christianity, the cross. The universal principles he declared should always resound in our hearts. Satya, truth. Dharma, right conduct. Shanti, peace. Prema, love. Ahimsa, nonviolence. Love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. Swami said that encompasses the Vedas, the 4 Vedas. Everything else is commentary. Primary is love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. And Swami set that example for us. Next, please. Love all, serve all. The Lord is in all. This is a picture of Swami in Vrindavan feeding the deer. Used to see this in those days. Next, please. My life is my message, endless loving service. Swami set the example for service, constantly doing something or the other for everyone. Next, please. His life is his message, one of constant and uninterrupted loving service to all. So the only way to reach God is to serve all. As his devotees, we must dedicate ourselves to transformation of our hearts, service to the needy, and to better our society. That's why we are here. Our lives are his message. Next, please. Swami says, unity, purity, divinity. We must be united as one world family of mankind in pure, loving, devotional service. That is the golden path to divinity. As the avatar of love, he has assured us that we will reach him. Let us be steadfast in devotion and not dissipate our energies. Next, please. And the way is Namasmarana. Constantly chant the sweet name and picture the loving form of the Divine Father or Mother in your mind and your heart. Bhagavan will appear in the form of your choosing. Dhruva was able to pull him in 5-6 months of tapas in the forest all alone, a 5 or 6-year-old child. Hands that help are holier than lips that pray. So constantly do service. Namasmarana, chant the name, and do the service. Next, please. The Sai Gayathree is the mantra for liberation. Mantra for liberation. Sai is Shiva avatar. Swami materialized this photo of him for our grandfather, Subrahmanya Shastri, in 1965 in an interview, and said that this was his true form. The Shivalinga, the formless Brahman manifested in front of our eyes, represented by the Linga. All names are his, all forms are his. There's an article link that talks in detail about this. But we have here the 7 serpents, all under control of divinity. There's Shirdi Baba at the top. There's the Linga representing the universe, and Swami in its heart. And there's the Om surrounding that. Next, please. So, Sai Surya Gayathree. We call it Sai Surya Gayathree because Ishvara is Sai and Sai is Ishvara. And this Gayatri mantra was revealed on Christmas Eve, December 24, 1977. Not too long ago. The occasion was Christmas Eve. The place was Trai Vrindavan. And Swami had a session in Trai at that time. And he asked a grandfather to talk. And he requested Swami, Swami, I have this mantra that came to me, that was revealed to me. Can I chant it? And Swami said, yes, please chant it. And so that was the time when grandfather chanted this mantra. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. And the meaning is, we know this Sai is the supreme divinity incarnate. We meditate on this God of truth. May this almighty personality lead us on the path of total liberation. So this is a mantra for liberation from this endless cycle of births and deaths. So we can meditate on this mantra, chant the mantra, visualize the form, any form. Bhagavan comes in all forms. So meditate on the form and meditate on the name, meditate using the Sai Gayatri. We chant it in the morning along with the Gayatri mantra, Vishwamitra Gayatri. And 3 times, each 3 times in the morning, noon, and the evening. This is the path to the Lord. While your hands are engaged in service, your mind is chanting the name. Next, please. Sai Gayathree format and the Rishi. The Sai Gayathree, like other Gayatris, is on par with Veda mantras or mystic formula of the Vedas. It has 24 letters in Sanskrit or Telugu. It consists of 3 lines, each with 8 letters. Such a composition has unique properties. According to Maharishi Bharuchi, the numerology of all letters adds up to 108. That is why recitation is to be done 108 times to realize the full effect of Siddhi, which is signified the 108th number. In other words, Meru, or the tassel of a rosary, or Japamala. Ashtotra Satanama, the 108 name chanting, leads to the realization of God, which is the goal. That realization can come spontaneously at any time by the grace of God. So keep chanting the name and visualize the form, have love in your hearts, and engage in service. Every Gayatri mantra has a revealing prophet or rishi and a presiding deity, Adhisthana Devata, who's the subject of the mantra. This mantra is expressed through the inner workings of Sri Satya Sai, through the mouth of Pandit Shri Ghandikota Subba Rao in the divine presence of the avatar himself, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Needless to say, that Sai Baba himself is the presiding deity of this mystic formula, and Ghandikota Subba Rao is the Rishi of this Gayatri mantra. This is a mantra for the Kali Yuga avatar. This avatar came in 3 forms. Comes in 3 forms. Basically, Shirdi Sai, Satya Sai, and Prema Sai. Next, please. Sai Gayatri essence. Grandfather Subrahmanya Garu expressed the essence of the Sai Gayatri in a verse of metrical form, Anushta-chandas. Yo devasya saina buddhim dharmadi gocharam preraye tasya yat tejaha tadvarenyam upasmahe. This verse means, let the effulgent energy of Satya Sai, which exists always in my heart as pure consciousness enveloped by the body, direct or influence our mind and our intellects to take the path of dharma, virtue, shanti, peace, satya, truth, and prema, love. So the benefits and the powers that are conveyed by this Sai Gayatri, super conscious illumination, culminating in bliss. In other words, by this parayana, this chanting and meditation, you can get super conscious illumination. It should widen our horizons, transform our hearts. Sarupya, living in Sai consciousness at the deepest level or totality of personality. Anandamaya, bliss-filled form of Bhagavan. Meditate on that. And this is a tool for that meditation. Next, please. Sai Gayatris. In an interview, Swami, when discussed the Sai Gayatri, and these were his words in Telugu, of course, translated by Father. The real purpose of performing karma is only to get rid of ahankara, or mindness. Karma, or work, offered for the love of God, comes back as grace. This is the strategy of escaping the bondage of samsara, the endless cycle of birth and death. One must persuade the heart to meditate. Persuade the heart and you persuade the people. If you do wrong, your heart then feels it. The heart is a constant witness. Move from the gross to the subtle, from the sense, the mind, and the intellect, getting closer to the Atman. The effulgence of Atman transcends the senses, whose nature is fickleness. The senses do not have the capacity or power of decisiveness. The senses will take you in different paths. Karma and upasana are the 2 wings which enable us to fly upward to God. Karma is for disciplining the body, mind, and intellect. It is not for just wasting time in various pursuit of pleasures. Karma is not slavery to senses or fate. Life is a long journey which is helped by yantra, tantra, and mantra. These make the journey easier. In other words, discipline, a mantra, meditation. We must reduce our luggage. Being detached in samsara is like mascara in the eye, like ghee on the tongue. One need not leave the worldly activity. There are yogis who are living right in a city, who can focus and concentrate. The journey should be continued until the end. Don't get off the train in Wayside Station. Don't get distracted. Pursue liberation in this lifetime. Next, please. One should pursue one's swadharma, one's own calling, till the end of the journey. One should reach the real destination with enthusiasm and animation, with a pure heart and joy. Your pole star or light is the name of God that guides you. That supreme light is the light of love, of life, Jivana Jyoti. The performance of duty by the God-given body is essential. In other words, this life as a human being is the greatest gift that God has given you, to pursue your path in honor and glory. Man's accumulated blemish or sin is washed away by such action of performance of duty. Karma kanda, the field of action, is like the flower from which follows the upasana kanda, the field of spiritual practice, which is like the raw fruit that subsequently ripens into the sweet fruit of jnana or knowledge. There are really two aspects of conduct, good conduct and bad conduct. With egoism, it becomes bad conduct. So now we know. Drop the ego, it becomes good conduct. Ankara, mindness, or selfishness is the crown of all bad qualities. Wearing such a crown, even such notable personalities as Kamsa, Shishupala, Dantavakra, Vishwamitra, and Satyabhama came to grief. Vishwamitra, the one who gifted the mantra, Gayatri mantra to mankind, he himself went along the path of ego and therefore had to fall. But then he recovered and became Vishwamitra. Kaushika became Vishwamitra. Next, please. Affirmation of the Sai Gayatri by Swami himself. Once in the magnificent Sai Paduka celebrations, these are the first ones that were conducted in 1997, September 1997, the whole of Prasanthi Nilayam reverberated with the mass chanting of the Sai Gayatri. At the end of the divine sandal adoration ceremony, Bhagavan came up to Father. Grandfather had passed in 1986, so this is in 1997. He came up to Father in the hall and said, Subba Rao, did you listen to the continuous Sai Gayatri chanting? And he very graciously remarked, your father is truly immortal, Amara. So this guy, Sai Gayatri, was gifted by Bhagavan to grandfather and then gifted to us. And now it is chanted all over the world. So that the vibrations of that chanting, it gives peace and benefit of calmness and great blessings to millions of people all over the world, billions actually. This is a photo of Swami with grandfather at the Dasra Yajna in 1965. Swami called this Vedic scholar, grandfather, a Maharishi, a seer and revealer of Vedic mantras, and showered on him, and because of him, to all of us, compassion and grace in abundance. He was very, very loving, the avatar of love. Next, please. Pacification through Sai Gayatri. These are some of the examples that Father wrote in an article. And once Father questioned Swami whether mantras are potent in this doubting Kali age, and whether, as the Telugu saying goes, will a mantra make the tamarind fruit fall from the tree? So Swami expressed a surprise that Father, coming from a holy Vedic family, should entertain any doubts on the efficacy of mantras, and emphatically declared that mantras are eternally potent, provided that they are chanted with wholehearted faith. So, and below are the Father's examples of the beneficial effects of Sai Gayathree chanting. What's in it for me? There is pacification, purification, and liberation. A Sai Seva Dal volunteer from Kottayam, Kerala, doing security rounds near the hillock west of Prasanthi Nilayam on a rainy night was saved from an intruder by chanting the Gayatri, Sai Gayatri. A Sai volunteer group from Greece in a strife-torn Bosnian town, this was in the 90s when they had fighting there, continuous chanting of Sai Gayatri by these foreigners from Greece, in Bosnia, in the Balkans, that eased the tensions. In other words, the vibrations spread out and brought peace to the hearts of those who were being violent. A distant part of northeast India, where ethnic insurgency was taking a toll, an ardent Sai devotee reported that he was kidnapped and tortured by insurgents for months. He kept chanting Sai Gayatri. He inferred that changed the hearts of the insurgents, and they finally released him. He was one of the few to have escaped alive and unscathed. So Swami says, at any time of distress, chant this mantra, because it'll bring peace to your heart, and the vibrations will spread and influence those around you too. So it can save you in times of disaster. And both the Sai Gayatri and the Gayatri mantra, they're both equal. They both have great power. And great power can be available to us through faith. Faith is the key. Next, please. And Swami's encyclopedic Vedic knowledge. Grandfather was a Vedic pandit, and he was extremely gifted. He had a photographic memory. This is all taught as part of the Vedic cultural discipline and education. And therefore, he was in a position to testify to Swami's all-knowing encyclopedic Vedic knowledge. So when he first heard Swami in 1960 in Rajahmundry, there are so many Vedic pandits who've gone there and who cannot recognize divinity in front of them. In other words, they're constantly praying to Lord Krishna or Rama, but if they came up in front of them in disguise, they would never recognize him. But that point, immediately Swami blessed grandfather with that vision of the avatar. So he immediately conveyed this to all of us with great joy. And so that is how we benefited from that point on. This grandfather testified to the avatar. And so we began to follow Swami from that point on. Actually, we were introduced in the late 50s, but the whole glory of Bhagavan was conveyed by grandfather to all of us. And we took that as the Ghandikota Rahasya. The secret of the Ghandikota family is that Swami is divinity incarnate, Pratyaksha Bhagavan. So Swami's knowledge of Vedic learning on the one side, and on the other, his knowledge of everything, including in modern sciences, is indeed astounding. This is all written by Father, as attested to by a number of scholars and scientists. That Swami is a virtual encyclopedia of Vedic learning has been attested to by grandfather Shri Ghandikota Subba Rao, a Vedic pandit, and who knew Vedartham. There are many Vedic pandits who can chant and who have perhaps a glimpse, but to grandfather, he knew Vedic Vedartham. Vedartham means understanding of all the complex Vedic formula, which are translated by Westerners as very crude verses. The glory is hidden to most. That's why you have to go to a guru to learn the Vedas, because what you read in a book, and most books are from Western scholars, who have no inkling of the glory of the Vedas. So that Swami is a virtual encyclopedia of Vedic learning has been attested to by grandfather, a Vedic scholar of repute in Andhra Pradesh. When we used to go to visit, there was always a group of pandits coming every day to ask him, because he was well known throughout the area for his wisdom. Father once challenged grandfather, who believed that references to Swami could be traced in the Vedas, and that in fact Swami is the embodiment of Vedic knowledge. This is his depth of understanding of the glory of the divine avatar of Swami. Grandfather's understanding of the Vedas and devotion to Swami were such that he used to tell us that whenever he listened to Swami's immortal teaching, the corresponding Vedic passage inevitably flashed across his mind. Father recalled one such incident. The postman had just delivered that month's Sanatana Sarathi in Telugu. He immediately opened it and asked grandfather to convince him right then and there that whatever Swami spoke is Vedic in origin. So grandfather took up the challenge with a smile, and right then and there and immediately gave him sentence by sentence the exact Vedic quotes corresponding to Swami's words. Father was flabbergasted by this evidence of Swami's encyclopedic Vedic knowledge. All knowledge. He's a repository of all knowledge because he is the divine Lord himself. And the interviews that we had with Swami in those days, when grandfather was there and we happened to be there, those were such glorious conversations between the two that we, especially as children, we couldn't understand it. But the thing is, if you focus on Swami, the understanding can be given to you because he radiates the wisdom and the knowledge. And just look at his face, hear him talking. And the conversations with Swami and grandfather were at this very high Vedic level. So we could just sit there and listen, just listen, absorb the vibrations, and you will feel the glory, the love, the prema of Swami radiating, and the knowledge in whatever form it is to you as a child or one as an adult, it radiates. So then in the first, when grandfather passed away and then father, we had interviews with Swami, that was one notch lower because father is a Vedic scholar. There's a difference between a Vedic scholar and a Vedic pandit. But of course, he was far ahead of all of us, my father. He was very fortunate to have studied in a Veda Pathshala, but until he joined, until at the age of 10 or 11. Then he joined English schools because scholarship was offered by Maharaja Vijayanagaram in Vizag district. So he then entered into the English path. And all these generations, for umpteen generations, we are in the Yajurvedic line. Every one of our ancestors was a scholar, pandit, Veda pandit, who achieved glory. And the last of the line of the Vedic pandits is our grandfather, because unfortunately my elder uncle, he passed away. He was a very glorious pandit, and he passed away at the age of 22. So that he was actually the last one. And my father, of course, carried that on because he also was given the gift of generation of mantras, the Sai Surya Gayathree, Sai Hiranyagarbha Gayathree, and various other Gayatries that came to him through the glory of Bhagavan. So father was flabbergasted by this evidence of Swami's encyclopedic Vedic knowledge. Hardly anyone knew that. Hardly anyone. There are very few Vedartha pandits in India. Very, very few. And of those, Swami said grandfather was one of the highest ones. Next, please. Swami on grandfather. Swami once introduced grandfather to others on the veranda, particularly to a former vice chancellor and former education minister, by stating that Ghandikota Subrahmanya Sastri, Vijayanagara Asthana Mahavidwan, was undoubtedly the foremost Vedic scholar and unexcelled authentic interpreter of the Vedas. When the names of comparable, well-known Vedic scholars were mentioned, Swami enthusiastically, emphatically declared that Satya Sai speaks only the truth. This is another 1965 Dasara photograph, and you can see the Vedic scholars and pandits in the back, and a grandfather sitting next to Bhagavan. Next, please. This looks like a repeat, unfortunately. Can we go on to the next one? Okay, this is just a perspective on the glory of Bhagavan. And this is a ISKCON photo of Sri Mahavishnu in yoga. And this is the glory of the Lord of Brahman is represented by the light shining on all these countless universes that have been created. This is Sri Mahavishnu. And every one of those universes has a Lord within it, of Vishnu inside, controlling it. This is the perspective of Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, that there are countless worlds. And there is an infinite Brahman that spreads his glory across. I say he, but it's actually, at that point, it's the Lord, it's Brahman, it's himself. And then there are those, the forms that he takes in order to create and sustain and then recycle those universes. Those forms are represented in various ways by different people, but it's all one. All expansion of Brahman as he takes form. And these are countless universes just floating in yoga, in the field of yoga. That is the glory of Sanatana Dharma. This is the only philosophy, let's say, that has that perspective, the boundless perspective of the multiverse. That is our Sanatana Dharma. The cosmos actually does not exist. It is an illusion. It never is, has been, or will be. The creation of the cosmos, the disillusion of the cosmos, these billions of individuals emerging and merging, all this is but a dream. There is no individualized Jivatma at all, no separated Atma. This is all a dream, a Maya. How can there be billions of Jivatmas? There is only one indivisible, complete, absolute Brahman. Like the one sun reflected as a billion suns and a billion lakes, ponds, and drops of water, the Jivatma's individual souls are but reflections of the one in the minds that it shines upon. This is from Satya Sai Vahini. Satya Sai Vahini is a very glorious Vahini that Bhagavan gifted to all of us. It's in the chapter 9, One with the One. Next, please. So Swami is always with you, always with us, watching and guiding. Talk to him. He's there. He's there in your heart. So talk to him and you will get a response. There are so many occasions where I was in a crisis, either professionally at work or physically. I had problems, illnesses, and there were times that I needed help, and the help was given by the Lord. So concentrate and focus. Have faith. Divinity is with you. You're never alone. Bhagavan bina koi apna nahi. Everything else is something else, but Bhagavan is yours. He's in your heart. Have faith. Next, please. So this is the symbol that replaced the Sarvadharma religions with the Sarvadharma values. Truth, nonviolence, right conduct, love, peace. So we've come to the end of the presentation, so now it's time for questions.
Sai Ram, sir.
Sai Ram.
Wonderful, wonderful. I would say a combination of important teachings, a recap of important teachings of Swami, as well as the experiences. But I must say that we've got a couple of questions here. I'm going to specifically request you. I've been hearing you for the last possibly almost 10 years since I first met you in New Jersey, and for the benefit of our devotees here as part of the Gayathree Saptaham, let's go into some of the things which you shared and delve deeper into the experience. The first one is on the Sai Gayathree photo, which we touched upon yesterday. So you had given a link of that Sai Gayathree photo, and you had explained, or rather your father, Shri Subba Rao Garu, had written a very detailed article about that on Sai Darshan. So if you could take us again through that, because we saw a slide on Ananta Padmanabha Swami, that is Mahavishnu lying on the serpent coil, and on the other side, it was very interesting to see Swami materializing himself as the Lingeshwara, Nageshwara and Lingeshwara in that photo. So if you could kindly recap what happened at that time, and has Swami ever referred to that, and how is that photo protected? Sai Ram.
Okay, Sai Ram. So this actually happened in the mid-60s, 1965, I think. That's that time when Swami, where Swami had called everyone for the Dasara celebrations. And then at that time, he had called him for an interview. And during that interview, this photo was materialized. So basically, this is the actual photo that was materialized. It's actually in our puja room right in the middle. And this is the photo. And essentially, it's a palm-sized photo that we've enlarged many times and shared. So we have the, now, I wasn't really prepared to give an in-depth presentation on this, but we have several things. One here is Shirdi Baba at the top, and then we have the Sarpas here. These are all the senses. All these senses are under the control of divinity. And then we have the Shivalinga here. This is the form of the universe. And those Shivalingas that Swami used to materialize on the occasions of Shivaratri, for those who were blessed enough to be there, my father was there many, many, many times. Unfortunately, I never was in all the years because we lived in New York, in New York, New Jersey. So every 2 years we'd make a visit, and then unfortunately those were reserved for like a birthday or big celebrations. So Shivaratri, I was never there myself, but my father was there many times, right from the early days and all through, and his Swami stopped for a while, and then he was there later on too. Father and mother were there, and so they've told us many times. And here's Swami at the heart of the Shivalinga. He said this represents his true form, the shape of the universe, the linga itself. There's an Omkara here. That is the primeval Om that generated the universes. So this is how the universe began, with the chant of Om by the divine. And so the senses under control of the Lord. And so this picture is at the center of our little mandir here. And we also have various enlargements that we've distributed. It's also available on the Sai Darshan website. And of course, it was also supplied in the PowerPoint presentation.
Sai Ram. Has Swami, one of the questions is also, has Swami given you or your family, I'm sure, lingas at various times? And could you narrate some experiences of the significance of lingas which Swami has manifested?
Actually, those I was going to cover in tomorrow's one, but I can say that that some of the memorable ones I'll mention briefly, and that is that he gave my grandfather a Shivalinga. It was a very dark stone about this size, about 2-3 inches in length, and basically that he told him, this is for your health. This was also in the 60s. And he gave him he created, materialized the Shivalinga. It came out. He told him to daily do snanam and then then do abhishekam to the linga and take the water every day for his health. And he created another one, very nice one, which is a very dark blue, glittering Shivalinga for Sanjay, the youngest one. And then he's materialized various objects of various sorts. One of these he materialized for my father. And it's here in my, after he passed on, my mother gave it to me. This is an ovoid stone in the form of a linga. This actually was not on a chain. It had no hole. It had 3 sides. And this was materialized for father in the 80s. So in the early 80s. So my father, as a United Nations senior officer, he traveled worldwide to many countries, some of which were strife torn. And so he said, you need raksha. So he gave this linga, materialized it once again. Is a stone. So it's multicolored brown and white stone, very glittering. And essentially, so my father, when he went back to the UN, work in the UN, he kept this in the UN, and he kept it in his drawer, his office desk drawer. And so then the second 2 years later, when he went on home leave to Parthi, then Swami asked him, what did you do? Where's that Shivalinga I gave you? And so father said, Swami, here it is. So what did you do with it, he said. And so Swami never goes directly to a question. He starts with little questions first. So he says, what did you do with it? Well, and then my father confessed, Swami, I kept it in my office drawer. Then Swami chided him gently, saying, I gave this for your raksha. It's not supposed to be kept in an office drawer. You're supposed to be wearing it. And then then my father said, Swami, how can I wear it? It has no chain, no hole, nothing. I can't really, if I could put it in my pocket, which I did when I was traveling. I take it in my pocket. And so then Swami said, give me the stone. So then he took it like this, and one breath, one blow, and there was a hole formed like a laser drill from one end to the other. So that hole allowed a mother had this chain made, okay, with a necklace and then a wire, gold wire that was put through, and so then father used to wear it constantly. Swami was given a lot of other things too, but this one was passed on to me. So
Sai Ram. Beautiful, sir. Very, very beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. We have a few more questions. A lot of people in our district and, today in the world, we are subject to travel to, outside India. And the amazing narration of your father, where he basically works in the United Nations. And I believe he started a Sai Center there as well. There were Sai Bhajans in United Nations. Could you share about that? How do we as Bharatiyas, true Bharatiyas, when we go outside, practice Swami's values, and how did your father demonstrate that in action?
Okay, actually my father came to the United States in 1949. He was sponsored by the Maharaja Vijayanagram for higher studies. After his master's at Loyola College in Madras, he was a gold medalist. He then went to Columbia University because the Maharaja Vijayanagram was a very enlightened being. He said, enough of the old British universities, you go to an American university. That is where the future is. So my father went to Columbia University to study for a PhD in economics. And then he brought us there in 1952. And as I'd mentioned before, we used to live in Mylapore, trying to get the passports, visas, everything. And then in 1952, in April, we came to the United States. So both families. My mother and my father came from Vedic families. So they were not, they had Veda as part of their life breath. Okay. So those foundations were very important. And in fact, my grandfather used to teach me little shlokas on Vishnu and Rama, Krishna. I still remember that. I was 3 years, from the age of 2, you can start learning. In fact, they say that it should begin pre-birth, during the later stages of pregnancy, just like, we hear in the Mahabharata, how Ashwatthama learned the Chakra Vyuha from Padma Vyuha entrance, but not, of course, the exit. So even babies are susceptible to learning. So playing bhajans, etc. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that start young, start early in learning. And then, so they conveyed this to us. They raised 3 boys in New York City during the strife times of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, anchored in Vedic knowledge and anchored in Swami's blessings. So it is very important that we maintain that. So he, in his travels, he would constantly chant, of course, the Swami's name, the Gayathris, and so therefore you have to have that builds up confidence in yourself. You have to go out and deal with people. Some of them may be good, some of them may not be too good, but you have to deal with them, and you have to deal with them professionally. So there are many occasions where it was difficult, but he was able to pull through faith. Faith alone will guide you through the right path.
Sairam, beautiful. Now, there are generations of your family who have grown abroad in the Western world, right? I mean, including your father, not grown up, but spent a lot of time working. So how is your children and, the next generation of the Ghandikota family, how are they coping with the Western ways? And what is your message to a lot of young people here in India who are going to send their children or whose children are already there? What is Swami's expectation been, and how have your children managed to walk that talk of, what Swami expected as Sai devotees?
You use every opportunity and start from the beginning to teach our glory, not in any egotistical way, but teach the basic essence of the faith. And this is what father and mother did to us. My mother never used to yell at us. She would always speak lovingly, never hit us, always speak lovingly, and then teach basic things, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. Teach little shlokas instead of Baba, black sheep, okay? Anchor your children so that they become stable. Founding of the first Bhajan group was in 1968 in New York City by father and mother. So we hosted bhajans in our home, and then people used to come there. Then we formed with like-minded people a bhajan group. There was no big centers as such then. Okay, so then that bhajan group evolved into the Flushing Sai Center in New York City. Then my father also was the founder of the Ganesh Mandir, the first Indian-style temple built exclusively for a temple. It was in New York, in the Queens, in Flushing, Queens. And so then he started the United Nations Center, because there are a number of people who used to have interest in Indian religions, etc. And so he started the Bhajan group there. And he was very active in both religious and cultural circles. Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, he was one of the founders of that in New York City. So always be active for the good. And then nobody needs to tell you what to do. It should come from the love in your heart. Just keep doing it, and then help people. There are people he would send money to scholars, Vedic pandits, who, because the temples were seized by the government, were dried up of funds. The temples were the cultural center of Indian villages and towns. And once that was robbed, it became very difficult for people. but so he would spend, his earnings, he supported not only our family, but also several other families, relatives who were thrown on the streets almost by closure of temples and no revenue that was coming into individuals. So always share to the best of your ability. And he would pay the scholarship of other people, just as the Maharaja of Vijayanagaram sponsored him. He sponsored countless people. And when he passed away, when we went there, everybody from the sweeper in the street to other people would come up to us and talk to us. They said, he's the only one the sweepers, he's the only one who would say good morning to us, give us little gifts, and talk to us like human beings. So that is why, these are the lessons that we learned from our father and mother over the years.
Sairam, beautiful, sir. In fact, as part of the conversation we are having now, I think I'm also inspired to ask you, how have you managed to cope? The days when Swami was there, obviously not everybody would be lucky to give a letter or take a Pada Namaskar or get an interview. So your family, and that's the reason we played the video in the beginning, we saw so many moments with Swami, so many beautiful moments, so many intimate moments, be it upanayanam, naming ceremony, marriage, Swami materializing the Mangal Sutra. And then happens 24th April 2011. Very, very tough for all of us as Sai devotees. I'm sure tougher for people like you, devotees like the Ghandikota family, who have been so much in the proximity of Bhagavan. So how has Sai Gayathree, or how have you managed to cope with that seemingly physical absence of Swami? Or has he shown you several personal experiences that he is with you always? Sairam.
Yes, we've been very fortunate that we've had a lot of experiences where Swami shows us he's with us constantly. It's very, over the years, it's sort of gone into our hearts. But the thing is, we also, are as human beings, no matter how much we talk of Vedanta, there's the bond of the Father, the Mother, and the Lord with Swami. So now, what happened in the case of Swami on that is that, when my father passed away, for 1 week, Swami was talking to him, rubbing him on the heart. He had this sudden heart attack, but, Swami, delayed that until Sanjay, our youngest brother, who was planning a trip in December, went and arrived in Parthi. That day, father had given a talk to 200 Russian devotees. He had cleared some books for publication because he was a member of the book trust. And then all his duty he had fulfilled. So then Sanjay came with Akshay, 4 months old at that time for the first time, so he was able to play with him. So Swami said, I kept him until he could see his grandson. That was his need. So then he had this heart attack in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. in the morning, and then we got this very surprising call. So father's life was gone like that. Then when it came to our mother's time, she had a slight cough. She was 82. Father was 78. So she had a slight cough and it got worse. So we said, let's take her to ER. So she went to the emergency, she was admitted. And then every day, slowly, she started declining. They put her on a ventilator, organ failure. And then 1 week gone, and she's gone. So Swami gave us an opportunity to be there. Everybody came from everywhere. Ramesh was in Vienna. He came and was there. So the rest of us were already in New Jersey. So he gave us an opportunity to send her off. And in the same way, Bhagavan gave an opportunity for people to understand that the transition of the avatar is happening. I say transition because even though the body was dropped, the eternal Brahman is always there. That we have to think of Swami not as the form, but as the eternal Brahman with this form. if you think of a form, think of the linga of the universe. And out of that form, all our bodies are his. Everybody thinks this is mine. It ain't. This is, Bhagavan owns everything. He's the Lord and Master and the Creator, the avatar. So he gave us ample time to transition from him being all powerful and then looking frail. But actually, he gave us an interview, before that. He was never frail. He looked, that's all Maya. He's the absolute Lord of everything, creation. He could fix that body, but he didn't. He wore it out. He set an example to us of service that wore out that body. And then, the transition. The other interesting thing is that, he had said that he was going to be there for 96, till the age of 96. And then, when my grandfather had passed, Swami had mentioned that he was 100 years old. But chronologically, in solar years, that was 93. So I had asked my father, how come Swami said he lived till 100 when it's 93 years actually by solar calendar? And Swami, and then father said, Swami works on the lunar calendar. So there is a difference. So when he said my grandfather lived till 93, till 100 years, he is Satya, truth, absolute truth. So we don't know everything, but there are little indications that he gave. In fact, I was so worried that because Swami went through the same thing that Mother had gone through a few months earlier, February 2011. He on the 6th, she passed, and Swami was going through exactly the same stages. He's admitted to the hospital, organ failure, and then so I was actually that week. I was very, very anxious. I got anxious because I know he's Bhagavan and the Lord, but then all this familiar ways of addressing him, going to him anytime, taking a flight and reaching him, falling at his feet, I felt that would be a loss. So as a human being, I felt the loss. But he gave ample time for people to slowly transition himself out. He didn't just disappear like Rama walking into the Sarayu and going away into the Chitravati. No. Every avatar is unique, does things in his own way. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, beautiful, sir. We have basically managed to get answers to some of the other questions for streaming about maintaining equanimity, and you so beautifully narrated it. I think we have another couple of minutes before we will have another video played. We have decided to pre-play the video to get into a meditative mode, and then we will have the vote of thanks. So the last question is, as Swami ever indicated, this is immense grace. I mean, as a student or an alumnus, I've seen myself, and for all of us, yes, we all have our opportunities with Swami, but the Ghandikota family has been one of those which has had so many experiences. So is there a past birth connection which Swami has spoken about, about Shirdi Sai avatar, or, something which your ancestors have done? So that could be the last question for the day, and we'll wind up in 3 minutes.
There is, there's the story of Sripada Srivallabha. Swami, says that, actually our major avatars are one thing, but there are countless avatars that can descend for the upliftment of man. So Sripada Srivallabha Charya was born in the Ghandikota family 400 years ago. So Swami at some point had discussed this with with grandfather. So we never know, and Swami never tells everything. Sometimes it gives you glimpses of things. Okay, so all of us who have been with him or have been drawn to him, have seen him, have had some connection all along with him. So because we have been given opportunities, hopefully we have taken good care of those opportunities. So everyone has that proximity to the Lord. He's always with everyone in their hearts. So we cannot say that he's not with us. He's with us always. And he's not only with us, but he's with everyone. Every being has a connection to the Lord. You can bypass other pandits, go straight to Bhagavan with your questions.
Sai Ram. It's very beautiful, sir. I think for the benefit of our viewers, I think you very, very nicely spoke in the middle today about the experiences of Brother Sanjay. We saw Brother Ravi's photo also. So just to let all of you know that after tomorrow's satsang with Shri Ghandikota Aryama, we will have 2 sessions, with Brother Ravi, who is also an alumnus and who has been in Vrindavan for some time, Whitefield Ashram in the university, and Brother Sanjay, who has been at Puttaparthi. And you saw him in today's video holding the college or the university staff during convocation. So we are going to hear more from the Ghandikota family. This is just the second day of the 5-day-long series of Sai Gayathree. Once again, heartfelt gratitude. And I request now Brother Venkat to kindly offer the Swami our gratitude and the vote of thanks. Before that, we will play the video of the bhajan, which will get us into a meditative mode of the Sai Gayathree. Sai Ram.
जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, 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 जय माँ जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय माँ जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, जय माँ जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, 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 जय माँ जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, जय माँ जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी 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 माँ, जय माँ जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ, जय जय माँ साई माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, शेरा वाली माँ, जोता वाली माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, पहाड़ा वाली माँ, जय जगदरनी साई माँ, जय माँ जय माँ, जय माँ साई माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ, जय जय वैष्णवी देवी माँ।
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you, sir, for again very interesting evening today. Excellent experiences. In many cases, it's touching experiences. Thank you very much for sharing all that today. With this, we will conclude today's session with Samastaloka. We will meet again tomorrow, 7:15 p.m. Request everybody to join. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.